Today I'm going to teach you how to handle money, partner, time, and think about it objections in a clear and concise manner that is replicatable across all your sales calls. So here we go. There are essentially two categories of objections. So you don't want to think about it in terms of like you got money, time, partner, think about it, right? There are lots of objections, but we want to try and break it down into things that we can logically think about when we're selling. You sort of want to draw down the middle, and we have fear and we have logistical. So those are like two main categories. Then what you've got is you've got your type of objection broken down into like a subcategory, being money, then you've got partner, then you've got a time objection, and then you've got a think about it objection. And you've got that in both fear and logistical. We'll handle logistical first because when it comes to the hierarchy of objections, you've got logistical and then fear. Now, the reason being is because you don't want to hit people over the head with the mindset bat if they have a genuine logistical objection. One of the things that I see a lot of sales reps do, especially beginner sales reps, is that they're taught that everything in sales is mindset. And so they immediately think when someone doesn't want to give them 30 grand over the phone on the first phone call, it's because they have a poor mindset. When in reality, it could be the fact that they are a genuine buyer, they do want to move forward, but they logistically, there is something preventing them, whether it be money, whether it be a spouse or a business partner, whether it be timing because of a previous commitment, right? Or like there could be some logistical things happening there. So we have to essentially default to handling the logistical first. Otherwise, you're gonna go at it from a fear-based perspective. And no matter how hard you beat that drum, you're still gonna have to go back to the fact that there is a genuine logistical objection, and you'll end up pissing off your prospect. So the first thing in the hierarchy, number one, is money. The reason why money is the highest in the hierarchy is because it's actually the most common. It's probably the reason why they have a concern or an objection to begin with. And also it's the easiest to handle. So the reason why money is the easiest to handle is because even if you're selling a non-ROI based thing, it's just a logistical issue. And if you're pitching in the right way, then you can roll that big rock downhill from the paid in full price into the payment plan price, into a deposit, whatever, and then you can get a commitment to follow up and change. So it's not that difficult to get someone to agree to something if you've done the right things in cost of inaction. Comment down below if you want me to do a video specifically on cost of inaction, because objection handling doesn't work if you haven't done that. When we do objections, the first thing we have to do is kind of just get rid of it. Okay, so I can understand from what you said that money might be an issue. Like, let me ask you a question, man. If someone gave you $10,000 in a duffel bag and said, hey, this is for your sales training, your personal development, like would this be the answer for you, right? And if you've done your pitch and your presentation well, they'll usually say yes, because that's the whole point of the sales call, okay? And then you go, okay, but why though? Okay, so now what we've done is we've said, okay, if the money wasn't an issue, would you move forward and would this be the answer? Yes, okay, perfect. Now I understand that some people, money is kind of tidal, it goes up, it goes down, moves in, moves out. What are some ways that you think that we can come up with the funding so that you can learn the skills to be able to increase your commissions? So what I've done there is I've got on the same side of the table as them, so I'm no longer adversarial, I'm now a partner with them moving forward. And now what we're trying to do together is come up with a solution to the problem. So I put it back on them. What are some ways that you can come up with the funding? Okay, I don't say money, I say funding, so that you can, and then I insert the reason why they want to learn the skill. So you can make more money, so you can put your kids into private school like you wanted. And they go, oh, well, and then you can make suggestions. Have you considered putting on a credit card? Have you considered some funding options? And then if they're kind of umming and ahhing, you go, well, if I was able to break that up into more digestible chunks for you, would that make it easy? They go, oh, could you do that? Yes, I could. Great. Would you like to have that conversation? Yes, I would. Perfect. What I can do for you is I can break that $10,000 up into 2 payments of $5,000. Would that help you? Okay, now if you notice my tonality, I don't get adversarial. I stay quite normal in the saddle because I'm just addressing someone's concerns. We have to tick the box of money, right? And we have to take them through that. And the important thing is that we get a resolution. So I have to get that money that it works. It has to work. So they go, yeah, okay, yeah, $5,000. Okay, if I was able to break it up into 3 payments, $4,000 today, and then 3,000, would that work for you? Yes, it would. Okay, so that works within your current budgetary constraints? Yes, it does. Okay, so now I have eliminated logistical money. Now, what I don't do is go, perfect. Do you want to buy now or buy, you know what I mean? You don't do that. You don't give them a binary option at that point because you don't know if that's the complete concern. The next step is, okay, how would you like to proceed from here? So what I'm doing is I'm opening the door for another objection or the sale. They might go, yeah, man, that sounds really good. I can definitely make that work financially. I just really need to speak to my wife about it. Same process again with a spouse or like a partner objection is okay. And like, let's just say your partner was here and they were on board and they kind of understood and had the perspective and context of the conversation that we had today. Do you feel like your partner would be on board with you learning the skills so that you can provide a better life for your family? XYZ, whatever it may be, right? And they go, oh yeah, of course. Okay, but why though? Okay, so if you notice the cadence and the candor is kind of the same, so I'm taking on the same line of questioning because I want to get the same outcome. I need to remove the partner objection by getting them to say, yes, they would work. Then what I'm doing is I'm gonna hit a fork in the road at that point where in partner, I need to make a decision, right? So the fork in the road is if you go to your partner and you explain what's happening and how it's holding you back and how you want to learn XYZ so you can XYZ, and they just don't want you to move forward, what are you gonna do? If they say no, right, I'm not gonna move forward without their permission, then you then have a decision to make whether or not you probe and clarify on that to ensure that that's really the case, or you go, okay, well, do you think it'd be appropriate to get your wife on the call so that, we can understand her perspective? Because let me ask you a question. Have you had a conversation about this with your wife? Does she understand some of the things that's happening and kind of how it's affecting you and your business? Well, no, she doesn't. Okay, well, do you think it's fair on her to kind of put that decision-making on her, or do you think that we should get her involved in the conversation? I think we should get her involved. Okay, cool, book a call. Okay, if they say, I'm going to move forward anyway, you then go hard in the paint because the logistical component of partner has now been removed. So you go, okay, why would you move forward if your partner doesn't want you to move forward? Like, why would you take that step? Why would you take the burden of that responsibility? And you go, okay, well, if you're gonna move forward regardless, and this is more of an FYI rather than a permission, and this works in your current budgetary constraints, how would you like to proceed from here? Okay, so you see again, I leave the door open. Now what's gonna happen? They might give you a time, same thing again. Same candor, okay? And then they might give you, it sounds really, really good, man. Like, money, partners are good, I can handle that, the money's fine. I know I need to do it, I just really need to think about it. Okay, so now you're in a situation where there is no more logistical objections that are standing in your way, and you need to transition over to fear. It might be a fear money, a fear partner, a fear time, a fear think about it, but they can all be handled in relatively similar ways. And if you guys want a more step-by-step guide on how to do that, we'll link our objection handling matrix in the comments below, which kind of has this flow charted out for you so you don't have to like randomly scribble and try and record it, right? So just comment down below and make sure that it gets sent to you. With fear, right, we have to bridge this gap, okay? So bridging this gap, it's a change in conversation. So we've now handled logistical, so well done. If you do that part effectively, then most people will go, okay, no, that makes sense, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Or they're gonna need to go into fear. But just having that side of things, just having a strong logistical objection handling ability will get rid of like 50% of your objections, and you'll be able to like overcome them as long as you don't get weird on the call. But we need to bridge into fear. So they have to come into my world essentially. Now I know that this person is not moving forward. There is no good reason. They have a problem. I have the solution. It fits within their budget. They know it's going to work for them, and they know that they should do it. If you're fat, go to the gym. I can say that. I'm a fat guy. All right. So, okay. So now we have to deal with fear. So my bridging question is always, well, that makes sense because we all make decisions based off our perspective, right? They go, yeah, I suppose. Sweet, perfect. You're now in my world. I've now dictated the framework of the future conversation because now I do not have to get you to buy something. I have to get you to agree to look at something in a different way. Now, I may have to do a complete video on fear-based objections because I don't want to get too into the weeds about that. But you have to have an element of that where you then dictate the emotional landscape of the conversation moving forward. And so by saying something as casual, like that makes sense because we all make decisions based off our perspective, it allows me to then go, okay, cool. Well, the problem with that is if you're always making decisions based off where you are, it's the only place you'll ever be. So are you open to potentially looking at things in a different way so you can maybe get a different outcome? Well, yes, I am. Okay, perfect. And then from there, we need to discuss what their current way of thinking and their current way of acting and their current perspective and what outcome that's gotten them versus the outcome that they want. And I think it was Einstein that said the same level of thinking that got you into a problem will not solve the problem. I'm sure I butchered that, but put the correct quote here, right? So that's essentially the goal of the fear-based objection. Now, what you can't do in fear is you cannot get angry and frustrated. It is fair enough that someone doesn't want to give you 30 grand, right? After a 60-minute phone call. So there's no reason to get frustrated with them. They're scared spending that much money, even if it is in their right, like even if it is good for them. I spent years selling fitness. People who are 100 pounds overweight were constantly telling me that now isn't the right time to join the gym. Yeah, the right time was when you're 20 pounds overweight, but we're here now. Let's just do this thing. There's plenty of reasons why people do that to themselves. Some people hate themselves, whatever. It's not your thing to fix that in 45 minutes, nor can you. You're not Tony Robbins, so don't try to be. All right, but you can't get frustrated, you can't get angry. You have to have a bridging conversation to control the emotional landscape of the conversation. And then from there, you just stay calm and you talk them through it. And remember, you cannot solve emotional problems with logistical solutions.